Kunj Bihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Girvaradhari, Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Pratikacharya Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Gaurnitai ki Jai, Shri Krishna Balarama ki Jai, Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Bhagwan ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Mayapur Navdeep Dham ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. God Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunamalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapat Kamlam Shri Gurana Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sakritam Sahagan Raghunathvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarabhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanatamascha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुत देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभक्ष कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So today we'll be talking Hindi English किसमें बोलूं?
Mix.
Okay. So today आज हम करेंगे जैसे अभी the topic was suggested by me only yesterday, so we'll continue with that. It's anger. So क्रोध जो है भगवान कहते हैं सर्वभक्षी पापी शत्रु है, वो सब कुछ खा लेता है, इवन हमारी भक्ति का सर्वनाश कर सकता है। श्री प्रभुपाद चैतन्य चरितामृत को कोट करते हैं बहुत बार कि सुंदर बगीचा जो भक्ति का है वो सर्वनाश हो जाता है एक पागल हाथी के द्वारा। सो ऐसे ही क्रोध के कारण हम बहुत कुछ कर बैठते हैं, बहुत गलतियां कर बैठते हैं जो बाद में सुधारी नहीं जा सकती। उनको सुधारना भगवान कहते हैं मेरे हाथ में भी नहीं है। सो इसलिए क्रोध से बचने के लिए कहा गया क्रोध, लोभ और लस्ट, एंगर, ग्रेड। सो क्रोध कहाँ से उत्पन्न होता है इसकी चर्चा भगवान भगवद गीता के दूसरे अध्याय में करते हैं और बार बार बताते हैं कि क्रोध से बचना है। तो क्रोध कहा जाता है, एक बार मैं एक कथा सुन रही थी, उसमें आ रहा था कि अगर अच्छे गुणों और बुरे गुणों की जब युद्ध होता है, जब उनकी लड़ाई हो रही थी डिवाइन एंड डेमोनिक क्वालिटीज़ की, तो हर अब डेमोनिक क्वालिटीज़ जो हैं वो इतनी बुरी नहीं है अगर आप उनको जीत सकते हैं अच्छे गुणों से। तो जैसे ही कहा जा रहा है कि जब युद्ध हो रहा है तो अच्छे गुण आ रहे हैं बट वो परास्त कर रहे हैं बुरे गुणों को, तो क्रोध बड़ा बेचैन हो रहा है। वो कहता है मुझे जल्द से जल्द भेजो वहाँ पर, मैं जाऊँगा तो सब कुछ हर लूँगा, मुझे एक क्षण के लिए भेज दो, मैं सब कुछ ले आऊँगा। ये जो बुरे गुण जो परास्त हो रहे हैं, दे आर एक्चुअली लूजिंग द बैटल अगेंस्ट द मॉरल वैल्यूज। तो अगर इफ यू जस्ट सेंड मी फॉर फ्रैक्शन ऑफ अ सेकेंड इवन, मैं सब कुछ समाप्त कर दूंगा। क्योंकि जब क्रोध आता है तो सबसे पहले जो सर्वनाश होता है हमारा विवेक, इंटेलिजेंस काम करना बंद कर देती है। विवेक, विजडम का सर्वनाश होता है तो इंटेलिजेंस भी काम नहीं करती, बुद्धि हर लेता है क्रोध। सो क्रोध किडनैप कर लेता है हमारी इंटेलिजेंस को, हमारे विवेक को। सो इसीलिए क्रोध बहुत ज्यादा बड़ा शत्रु है, वो विवेक को हरने वाला है। तो इसीलिए भगवान ने कहा उससे बहुत बच के रहो। क्रोधी व्यक्ति जो है वो भक्ति में आगे नहीं बढ़ पाता। तो इसीलिए भगवान दूसरे अध्याय में इसकी चर्चा करते हुए कहते हैं, the 62 verse, and then he goes ahead talking about it in the 63rd verse. He says, Krishna says, धायतो विषयान पुंसा संगस्ते सुपजायते संगत संजायते कामा कामत क्रोध अभिजायते. So while contemplating on the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. So जब इंद्रिय तृप्ति के जो साधन है उनके ऊपर हम मेडिटेट करते हैं ज़्यादा, हमें इंद्रिय तृप्ति करनी है, ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ द सेंसेस जो हमारे इंद्रियों के जो विषय हैं, लाइक आईज को कुछ देखना पसंद है, कानों को कुछ सुनना पसंद है, जीवा को कुछ बोलना पसंद है, तो अगर हम वो अपनी इंद्रियों के अनुसार करने लगे, हमारे इंद्रियां के, क्योंकि इंद्रियों का नियंता कौन है? Who controls the senses? That's a mind. If we listen to the mind, then it's bound that if our mind is not our friend, it will act as an enemy. Only two options are there, friend or enemy. So if the mind does not help us in spiritual advancement, so mind is our enemy. भगवान कहते हैं मन के ऊपर बुद्धि है, above mind is intelligence, and above intelligence is your soul. So those who work for their soul actually are working for their betterment. And if you are not working for the advancement of your soul, then you are actually on the downfall. So how you work for the advancement of your soul? So when you make your mind your friend, so befriend your mind. So how do you befriend? When it takes actually interest in the Krishna consciousness. It's your befriending your mind. Otherwise, it will remain your enemy. It will take you to the adverse path. So here Krishna completely says, while contemplating on the objects of senses, so the objects of senses, when अगर मन आपका शत्रु है तो मन आपको कहेगा आज चलो कीर्तन में नहीं जाते हैं, आज कहीं और इनवाइटेड है, लेट्स गो देयर, लेट्स गो एंड वॉच अ मूवी, लेट्स गो शॉपिंग. सो कीर्तन आपको बोरिंग लगता है, भगवान की बातें बोरिंग लगती हैं, एंड यू वांट टू अवॉइड देम. So that is you are listening to your mind. You want your senses, they are ruling over you. So when you meditate on your senses, senses actually आपको धोखा देती हैं कि you want more name, more fame, you want to have more money, and you're obsessed with them. So you avoid the association of devotees also because that hinders your sense enjoyment. So when you're contemplating on these objects of the senses, then it is bound, your attachment will develop for them. It will become an obsession. Like you see the politicians, they want power. So when they want power, they get obsessed. So obsession actually takes them the heights that they can do anything to get the power. They can commit any offense, any sin to get that power. They get obsessed because they are attached to their senses. They are attached to what they want. So this is how Krishna says, when you contemplate on your senses, then what happens is you will actually lose your attachment will be more to your senses, and then this is going to happen from such attachment to the senses. Lust is going bound to develop. You'll become lusty. Lusty doesn't mean only you're more lean towards sexual enjoyments. Lusty can be for anything. Lust for power, lust for money, lust for fame. So you see the celebrities, the film stars, they are lusty for fame. They can really degrade themselves just to get the fame. Sometimes they do adverse publicity because they want fame. वो उससे भी डरते नहीं हैं, adverse publicity से भी डरते नहीं हैं. So they go to the height of that. So it says here, Krishna actually, this is, Bhagavad Gita is for the devotees. That's why he says, my devotees can understand me. So once he tells Arjuna, you give your mind and intelligence to me and then fight. So if you want to remain in this world, in this material world, you give your mind and intelligence to me, Krishna says, for all of us. You just give your mind to me and your intelligence. That means you work with my mind and my intelligence. So here he says that attachment for such things develop. And then what happens? Lust develops. And from lust, anger is going to rise. Because when the lust is not fulfilled, you're bound to get angry. Now, how we will see this in a practical world? We will say it's in a very broader perspective. But the anger actually comes in a subtle way. It destroys the grasta lives. It destroys the married lives. It destroys even where you're working, it can destroy that atmosphere. It can destroy anywhere. It can bring only destruction. Anger will only bring destruction, nothing else. And those who express anger, actually they are the victims. They want to victimize others by their anger. But unfortunately, they become the victims themselves. So that is why it says, Krodha Agni. That's a fire of anger. They burn in the fire of anger. Those who get angry, they are bound to burn in their own anger. So there is a simple workshop I do. We'll go ahead with the 63rd verse later. So simple, when I go in Grasta families or with youngsters, we are sitting, how do we know that anger is coming up? Who is the culprit? How do we get to know it? So a very simple scenario I'm going to explain to you. That there is a simple household, a husband and wife and a kid. And they're sitting in the morning, like they all have to go, like the husband and wife has to go for work, wife has to go for the work, the son has to go for the school. It's morning, early morning time, they're having breakfast and they have to leave. So they're in they're express mode they are. So they're sitting on a coffee table. There's a glass of juice there and it spills. Husband is all ready to go, wife is all ready to go out and catch her bus. And now the juice glass, it spills. When it spills on the father, his clothes get spoiled, his pants get spoiled. And now what will be the first reaction? Nobody knows who toppled that glass. They were all so busy in there that they had to leave, and nobody knows how did it spill. But who is going to be the target? The husband is going to scream, yell at the child. Because the child is the one who may be, they're not still, they are moving around like they're not in a mood to go to the school. So like he would scream at the child, and then what will happen? The mother will jump in. She's gonna defend the child. And now the scenario is totally different. The anger has come up. The wife says, she has to take the bus and the bus is going to come on time. The husband has to take his own car. So she says, you better take care of the child. I am leaving. My bus is out there. I'm leaving. And she leaves. But she's not in a happy mood. No buys, no loving buys, no hugs, no embraces, nothing. She just leaves in a very awful mood. And now the husband, he goes to his room, in anger, he changes his clothes, and he just drags the child to the car, shoves him in the car, races to the school, and he's doing overspeeding. He gets a ticket on the way. He's overspeeding. He reaches the school, he opens the door, and no byes, no goodbyes. He just tells the kid, go away, get out, and go to your class. And the child just goes away. He's also in an awful mood. The husband goes to the office, and then he remembers he forgot to get his laptop. His whole day is gone. So wife is suffering there in anger. She's giving her anger to others in the school. She's not in a good mood. She's not talking to anyone. She's not happy. Son is not happy. He is in an awful mood. He's not speaking to his friends. He's not playing. He's very upset because neither the mother, neither the father, nobody kissed him bye. Nobody said goodbye. No loves, no kisses. And the husband, his day is already ruined. And this is going to go for a long time. It's not that he comes home and they're going to patch up. No, this will linger on for a few days until they resolve it later. So you see, what was it that brought trouble in their home? Was it the glass of juice? Was it the anger? Was it the husband himself, the son or the wife? Any three of them, or the anger? What was that spoiled their scenario? What spoiled their life for a few days? So I'll describe now another scenario. The same thing happens. The juice glass spills. The husband says very coolly, he speaks to his child very nicely, very politely, and says, be careful next time, you don't spill the glass. And quietly goes upstairs, changes his clothes, comes down. The wife is gone. He takes the child. Child also does not miss the bus because everything is very quietly done. He takes the child out and puts him in the bus, kisses him bye, and the child even says sorry. He also does not know who did it. But he also says, sorry, Papa, I'll be very cautious next time. So he goes to school, he picks up his laptop, he goes to his office, everything is fine. So what happened? It was the same thing. Everything was same, but just the response was different. The reaction was different. So that's what Krishna teaches us. How do you react in the situations? So that is our karma. How we react in such situations. If we react in anger, we are actually destroying our own peace, destroying our own happiness, destroying our own relationships, this goes a long way. This will become our nature. Once we have a nature of be aggressive in our words even, this is going to become our swabhav. So spiritual life actually teaches us how to develop our swabhav, our nature. Our real nature is the connection to the Supreme Lord. And Krishna again and again says, learn tolerance, learn patience. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Triyadapi sunichena tarurapi sahishana. So become very tolerant, very forgiving. So these little things actually they mount up. Once I was reading Indradaman Maharaj's diary, and Indradaman Maharaj mentions that he was in New York and he was hiring a taxi to go to some place, and he just gave a hand to a taxi, and taxi immediately came this side and stopped. And there was a lot of traffic there, and the other driver, it was not the taxi wala, really, he looked very cautiously, and he did not notice that car, but it was not his fault also. That car was coming from a wrong direction, it was coming out. But the driver started honking and abusing this driver. Now this driver was the one where, this taxi was the one where Indradaman Maharaj was boarding it, he was just getting in. And this driver remained very patient. He did not respond to all those abuses. He never responded to what that person was saying. So Indradaman Maharaj says, I asked him that how come you are so patient? Why didn't you? It was not your fault at all. It was his fault. And yet he was honking and he was abusing you and you never said anything to him. So Indradaman Maharaj writes, I was so happy to hear his answer, his reply. The taxi driver said, I didn't want to take his garbage. Because if I had taken his garbage, I had to give out the garbage. So if I take it, I give it out to someone. Why should I take it first place? I left the garbage with him, let him take his garbage. Why should I take it? So in this one, Maharaj says, that is what Bhagavad Gita teaches. Why should we take the garbage? So anger is nothing but garbage. And this garbage actually, it makes us at fault. It will bring sinful life in us. We will commit sins if we take the anger. So that's why Krishna says here, this workshop we do, this enactment, what I actually narrated, this is actually for us to learn in the simple life also. The small things even, they matter. They become big. And these issues go to the level of divorces. These are very small, minute things where both those who are in a family, they have to understand. That's why Krishna says, the family that prays together stays together. So if you have this kind of intelligence that you take up to the words of Bhagavad Gita, it's bound that you will have a nice family, you will be nicer, because Prabhupada says, if you take to Krishna consciousness, you'll become a nicer husband, a nicer father, a nicer son, a nicer wife, a nicer daughter. So everything is going to be nicer, on the nicer side. It won't be that it is going to take away everything from your life. People are afraid of taking to Bhagavad Gita because they think, they will lose something in life. They will lose the taste of life. They often say, you people, you don't eat out, you don't drink this, you do not eat that, you have so much of restrictions. But they don't understand what we get out of this. They cannot, actually, it says, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. It takes you to bliss, it takes you to pleasure. It takes you to understand the relationships much better, in a much better way. You become a nice son. कौन से पेरेंट्स हैं जो नहीं चाहते उनके बच्चे अच्छे हों? Every parent say, I want a son, I want a daughter जो बहुत अच्छी हो, but they don't know how to groom them. So Bhagavad Gita teaches you how to groom your relations, how to groom them, how to bring out the best in you. That's what Krishna actually is telling us. He proclaims that, I bring the best in you. So in the 2.63, Krishna says, Krodha bhavati sammoha. From anger, complete delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. So from anger, what is going to happen? Delusion is going to come. You will be deluded. You won't understand what to do. You think this is right, but that's not right. So, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory, you will have, your memory goes away. If you are in anger all the time, you're furious, anger doesn't mean you're violent always. Anger can be in your words, anger can be in your behavior, it reflects when you're frustrated, you're angry, anxiety, that's all anger. And Krishna says, bewilderment of memory, and when memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. So you get confused, your memory bewilders means that you don't understand what to do, and then what previously was done, you just keep on forgetting and you want to give back. That's a revenge, always living in revenge. Somebody may say something to you and immediately you want to give it back. So the Vaishnavas, they never give tit for tat. They never give tit for tat. They don't believe in tit for tat. But in the material world, the children are taught tit for tat. If someone has done something to you, give it back more forcefully. But Bhagavad Gita teaches that if someone has given you anything which you don't like it, just forgive that person and move out. Don't be there. Ignore it and move out. So we don't believe in tit for tat because once the intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. So we have a higher goal. Those who are devotees, they have a higher goal. They are thinking bigger. They are not actually thinking about the living in the material world again and again, coming back to it. They have a bigger goal in life. Their focus is bigger. That's what Guru Maharaj always used to teach us. That if you have conflict even while you're in the temple, you will find people of different grades. It's not everybody is a devotee, right? But everybody is a devotee of different grade. There are different levels of devotees. So when you are among the devotees also, you have to actually follow this principle. It's not only for the material world, you have to follow here also in the temple. So in the temple also you should be very cautious while dealing with the devotees. Your focus should be only Krishna and Guru. And rest are all devotees of different grades. So if you think you are a devotee and you are dedicated to your spiritual master and Krishna, so you focus on Krishna and be humble and so be together with all of them. Never say, because devotees, Prahlad Maharaj says clearly in the Bhagavatam that the devotees, they don't make groups. They don't have one enemy and one friend. They are friendly to all. It's different that you may be friendly to, you may share the secrets with one and not for everyone. That's okay. But be friendly to all. You can't name it, oh, this is my enemy. He cannot be your enemy because he is serving Krishna. And you're also serving Krishna, so you can't be enemies. Your goal is one. You're not taking credit, you're not Hiranyakashipu, you don't have Krishna as your enemy. So you cannot be enemies. It's just that you're not that friendly, but still you can be till the level of Hare Krishna. That's what Guru Maharaj always taught us. So the Krishna says the same thing. And here the Prabhupada quotes Rupa Goswami here. Rupa Goswami says, by development of Krishna consciousness, one can know that everything has its use in the service of the Lord. So Rupa Goswami clearly mentions here that in Krishna consciousness, when you develop that, everything has its use in Krishna consciousness. Every single entity can give, actually, every single entity can be a part of Krishna consciousness and serve Krishna in any little manner also. Because Krishna says, you are all my part and parcel. So Krishna is if the supreme body. We are all his parts. So part and parcel can be a tip of the nail even. We can be a tip of his hair also. We can be any part of his. So we have to, our aim is to serve him. That's all. We have no other aim. Our aim is to serve Guru and Krishna. So here Rupa Goswami says, by development of Krishna consciousness, one can know that everything has its use in the service of the Lord. Those who are without the knowledge of Krishna consciousness artificially try to avoid material objects. So artificiality doesn't work here. If we are artificial, it's not going to work for a long time. So, and as a result, although they desire liberation from material bondage, they do not attain to the perfect stage of renunciation. So artificially, you cannot attain the stage of renunciation. We may bluff others by our artificial renunciation, putting up a show of artificial renunciation, but it will not take us to our goal. Once we were doing Govardhan Parikrama with Guru Maharaj, and there was some devotee from Bombay. He was doing Dandavati Parikrama. So everybody came to Guru Maharaj and everybody was glorifying him, and we were walking with Guru Maharaj. So the devotees were coming and telling them there is a group from Bombay and there is this Prabhuji doing Dandavati, and they were trying to impress Guru Maharaj. And we were surprised. Guru Maharaj was coolly chanting, and when we reached near that devotee, I was there and other devotees were there. So usually when Guru Maharaj used to walk the parikrama he used to do, and I used to remain in front with him because I didn't like to be in the middle and at the back would be too away from him. So I always wanted to walk beside him or just behind him. So I was there with Guru Maharaj, and they started glorifying that devotee. Oh, Prabhu is doing Dandavati. And Guru Maharaj very coolly said, no use of your Dandavati. Maharaj says, when in Bombay, when some service is given to you, you're nowhere. You never complete your service, you're not there. But what's the use of this Dandavati then? Imagine, everybody is glorifying its Govardhan and he's doing Dandavati. A normal person would say, wow, he's doing Dandavati. The Guru Maharaj completely actually shattered what he is ahankar, he shattered it immediately. So this is what the Guru does. If we really want to serve the spiritual master, we should take the instructions as it is they are coming. And when we serve him, Krishna is pleased. If Guru is pleased, Krishna is pleased. So there is no use of our doing all those austerities if we are not able to please the Supreme Power, we are not able to please the spiritual master. So what's the use of all the austerities we might perform? So that's what Rupa Goswami says here. Artificially nothing can happen. We cannot be out of this material bondage if we are practicing Krishna consciousness in an artificial way. Because Kali Yuga has a trait of fake already. It is already an artificial yuga. Here everybody is artificial. But if the devotees also follow that pattern, then what is the difference between us and the material world? So, because our desire is to get out of the cycle of birth and death. So, if we lose our focus and we get stranded in between, in the middle, we are stranded with our lusty desires. And this is being an artificial also is a lusty desire. We are thinking about ourselves. I remember very nicely because when I started last time, the COVID, right before COVID 2020, I had come to London for preaching, Abu Dhabi and London. I had just reached back in nick of time and the COVID was there. It was end of February 2020, I reached Delhi. And they were already taking the temperatures at the airport. But I somehow, I didn't have anything like fever, and they didn't take mine and I was out of the airport. And 2020, March 22nd, the lockdown started. Everything was shut down. Guru Maharaj was stranded in the big temple. He was in east of Kailash. And then I was thinking, people were really at that time shaken up. They were so scared. What's happening? What will happen? Nobody had thought there would be a lockdown. So all these reports were troubling. And then I thought, how will I preach? I have to fulfill the desire of Guru Maharaj now. I couldn't travel. I could not hold any programs. So my Prabhuji said, why don't you go online? I was doing online when I used to travel. I used to give online lectures. I used to make live, like I'm doing live right now. If I was speaking to a guest, I would go live. But not straight away into the camera. I didn't have a habit of going, just looking into the camera, gazing and speaking on your own. You don't know who is there. So I thought it's very embarrassing. So I went to the rooftop with my laptop and I started speaking like into the camera. And many people joined in. It was like 500, 600, 700, 800, 900 people would join with me early in the morning, like 9 o'clock. I would go up after my chanting and people would join in and they would have questions. And they loved the Bhagavad Gita I was reading to them. I was reading Prabhupada, what he said. And they were getting a lot of energy from that. And then I would read their names. So those who have seen me at that time, they know I used to read all the names. And like reading every day their names, I got accustomed to those names. They became a family kind and they would have questions, I would answer them. And many were listening these answers. So they would send their comments that they love it. And they would request me to come back in the evening also. So in the evening also I would have a session. So likewise, these people whom I had not seen, but yet they were in my life now. So I was teaching them how to chant the Mahamantra. And likewise, the online preaching started. And sometimes when I would give a discourse, the discourse views would go like 65,000 views and 80,000 views. And I would report to Guru Maharaj. I would call him up and tell, I'm doing Guru Maharaj online preaching now. And I was very happily telling him, Guru Maharaj, so many views were there, like thousands and hundreds of devotees there, 100 people they come, hundreds of them come. And very coolly, very nicely, I forgot that Guru Maharaj had given somebody on the Dhanvati Parikrama. Very coolly from the, sorry, very coolly from the other side, Guru Maharaj is listening to me and very nicely says, Radhika Kripa, you want to be a celebrity or a devotee? I said, Guru Maharaj, devotee. Good. That day I understood that what should I behave, how should I behave? So I was now looking for the numbers, but Guru Maharaj was happy. He said, I'm happy. He added one line. He said, I'm very happy. And then he was teaching me that I should not get carried away. So that's what he was teaching me. Because it was new for me. This medium was new. And he wanted me to be there on the ground level. So I made a family of those people. And then Guru Maharaj one day calls me up again in the August. It was the last week of July or the first week of August, he calls me. And he says, until that time the temples had not opened up. We were not going out. So he says, you have a big group, as you said. So I want you to do the Bhadra Purnima marathon. And your target is 1000 Bhagavatam sets. Wow. I said, Kurai, that's a lifetime target. But then he said, you have to do it. And then he said, I will just tell Mohan Rupa Prabhu to send you the link. So you have the link with you ready and you may start your marathon. I said, as you say, Guru Maharaj, if you are saying something, I knew if Guru Maharaj has said something, so he's empowering also and he will do it. I said, I'll try my level best, Guru Maharaj. So immediately, Mohan Rupa Prabhuji called me, he sent me the link. We made a flyer, put it across my groups. By that time, I had around about 2,000 people with me on the WhatsApp groups. So I just flashed this message that you get a Bhagavatam set, you get Krishna. They were all new to ISKCON. These people, they were all new to ISKCON. They had just learned chanting, they had learned I had taught them Tulsi Arati, the Prasadam prayers, how to offer Bhoga, everything. So we got, within a few minutes only, 40 sets of Bhagavatam were done. And then it was by 3-4 days, there was this lockdown. It opened up for a few days, it was, and we went to the temple with our mask on. And Guru Maharaj was giving a class there. And our score had gone to 120 Bhagavatam sets within 4 days. And then Guru Maharaj knew about it. And everybody was glorifying, all the people around, the temple president and all. But then very coolly Guru Maharaj's voice comes on the mic and he says, her target is not this, her target is 1000 Bhagavatam sets. I said, yes, Guru Maharaj. And then we did that marathon we ended up with 426 Bhagavatam sets. And then the Gita marathon came and that was also added to it. And we did in the first year 7,000 Bhagavad Gitas. So then the next year came, he says, don't forget your target is 1,000, still it's pending. And we did 626 Bhagavatam sets and 14,000 Bhagavad Gitas. And the third year came, 2022, we did 525 Bhagavatam sets and 18,000 Bhagavad Gitas. And this 2023, we did again 565 Bhagavatam sets and 20,500 Bhagavad Gitas. So Guru Maharaj was pleased, and yet we have to accomplish our 1,000 wala target. So Guru Maharaj has given me a target till my last breath. We have to do 1,000 in one go. So I keep on telling, and we have done 200 Chaitanya Charitamrita sets also. So I keep on telling my god brothers in Delhi temple when we have prize distribution. So we have a very nice cordial relationship, and they sometimes joke with me, they pull my leg, and then I would say I have done more than 2,300 Bhagavatam sets in these 4 years. And they would then tell me, oh, if we calculate ours, then we also have done more than you. They all say, Guru Maharaj has given you 1,000 in one go, in one. So I said, yes, one day I will do it, let's see. So this is how actually it is. We are made to stay on our toes by the instructions, if we follow Guru Maharaj's instructions, our spiritual master's instructions. He actually keeps a check on us. So likewise, Krishna says here, Rupa Goswami says here, that if you really are anxious to be liberated, then you have to be very sincere in your practice of Krishna consciousness. You cannot be artificial. And their so-called renunciation is falgu, if it is fake. They do not attain the perfect stage of renunciation, and it's falgu renunciation. On the other hand, a person in Krishna consciousness knows how to use everything in the service of the Lord. So everything we have to use in the service of the Lord. Even our anger should be upon ourselves. Oh, I'm not able to serve nicely. I'm not able to do this. So you should be anxious about yourself. Not be anxious on others. Oh, it's because of him I could not do it. It cannot be. Because other person is not responsible for your karmas. You're responsible for your karmas. So we cannot blame the others. The blame game is a wrong game. It's not the right game. So we have to actually uplift ourselves, come up from the blame game. We cannot blame others. Oh, I'm not happy because of him. You're not happy because of yourself. Because you have given in to your anger, to your lusty desires. You are bewildered. That is why you're not happy. So it is you are happy always. That's why we say happiness depends upon oneself. It's coming from within. That's what Krishna says here. When Arjun says, why I am committing sins? I don't want to commit sins and still I'm committing sins. Why does this happen? So Krishna says, Kameshe krodeshe rajaguna samatva. So kameshe krodeshe. So krodh is actually the reason behind committing sins. When the lusty desires are there, kam is there, krodh is bound to come. And when krodh will come, sins will happen. And when sins happen, then what happens? Krishna says, Nastir buddhir yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavna nachavatara shantira shantasa kuta sukham. Without shanti, without peace, how can there be happiness? Your mind is not peaceful because you're agitated. That is krodh. That is anger has agitated you. So if you're agitated, how come you can be at peace? And if you're not at peace, you cannot have happiness. So if you don't have peace, your mind is not calm, how will you make the decisions that are going to actually be nicer to you? How the decision making actually is the crux of your karma. It's जैसा decision आप बनाओगे वही कर्म बनेगा. You will always have two options before you. Whenever you go, there is no third option. There is no middle way. There is always two options. Either you are a devotee or you are a non-devotee. Either you will do this or you will go with this. If you are in Krishna consciousness, it's good. If you are not, you are in Maya. There is no halfway. Oh, I'm half Krishna conscious, half Maya. It cannot be. Either you are Krishna conscious, either you are in Maya. So one has to be very particular what one decision is making. So decision making actually is the process of a calm mind. Right decision making. A calm mind only can help you. So a calm mind will be there when you are Krishna conscious, when you don't have lusty desires, when you have a control over your mind. So Rupa Goswami is talking here about Falgu renunciation. So we should not be artificial. Falgu means artificial. Never be artificial. So it should be real renunciation. If you are following something, you should be doing it perfectly, nicely, according to your yatha shakti, according to your own power. But give the best of your. If you are doing bhakti, give your best. We know inside everybody is a judge of themselves. They know how much more they could give, how much more they could actually surrender. But it's a problem with us, we don't surrender, don't go to that level. Guru Maharaj said just before, when he actually went away, he was saying this, that I have done in my capability the best I could do to serve Srila Prabhupada. He says, I have stretched myself to the last of my capability, and I have done for Prabhupada. Doctors were saying that his muscles were so actually degenerated that he, in his situation, a normal person, if he would have that level of Parkinson, would not be able to lift a coin even. And he was doing all the artis till the last day. So picking up the ghee lamp, the fan, the chamar, so heavy, and he was doing it. We could all see how he was stretching himself to hold those. He was, and we would say, nobody would dare to say, Guru Maharaj, that it seems you cannot do it. He will never take it. He would never. He could not, barely he could take the steps. If somebody would hold him, he would just shun them away, put their hands away. The last fall also was that he never called the servant inside. He was in the washroom, he never called him and tried to get up himself. And he fell down. And then also he did not tell them. He took the shower, he took the artis, he did the worship of his deities, he sat there, and then they saw that big patch of blue black back at the back. And then they asked, and he said, yes, I fell down. And he had three broken ribs at that time. How can a normal person stay till evening like with 3 broken ribs? We have seen the MRI reports came, we had reached Dehradun, we were there, both of us. And we saw the video, the MRI video that had come up. We saw the ribs, how they were broken. They were totally cut from the middle. And he was there till the evening. He walked to the car, he sat in the seat, He came to the hospital, walked to the MRI room, got the MRIs done, and then the doctor said, oh, he's got 3 broken ribs, we have to take him to ICU immediately. And then he was taken to ICU. And in the meantime, the rib had ruptured the outer space of the lungs. And from there, the carbon dioxide went in. So but he was totally a warrior. And the doctors were saying that they had put him on ventilators, and they were saying that he is almost not there now. But when Loknath Maharaj goes inside and he says, Hare Krishna, loudly in his ears, and Guru Maharaj's lips move and say, Hare Krishna, and he left. So that's Guru Maharaj. So he was always teaching that how we have to serve the spiritual master like he served his spiritual master. So he gave a message to all of us that how his disciples have to serve him. If we really love him, so crying for him would not bring anything for us. So that's what that I told myself. That when he left, so it was very difficult. So, and I said, if I keep on crying, then his wish was that I should go and preach. He had sent me emails when he was traveling in 2003-4, when he was traveling to America and Russia. He had written a mail. I just took out all my old mails. I was going through his mails, that what he had sent to me. And there he had written that I want you to travel and preach. And he wrote there, I hope one day you will spread Krishna's message in the whole world. And his words, we should never think the spiritual master words are just in vain. He never spoke anything that he would not mean. He spoke the words that he meant very much. And he had the best of the sense of humor. I remember him so well, and he would joke around. He was, when he fell down in Gurukul, he had a big, bluish black patch on his face that came up because there was a lot of blood clotting. And there was the Badshahpur temple opening. And he was there in the temple. And he was sitting, we all were sitting, I was sitting right next to him on the floor, I was in the chair, and many devotees were coming to see him. There was a boy who came and he was seeing Guru Maharaj after a long time. And he did not know that Guru Maharaj had a very nasty fall, and he had this, because the blood clotting is there on his face. He looked at Guru Maharaj and he said, Maharaj, what happened to you? What is this on your face? So Maharaj very coolly says, this is the new fashion, you don't know? So we all laughed. I still have that video somewhere. And he said, what is this? And Guru Maharaj says, it's a new fashion. And Mahaprabhuji had COVID at that time, the first wave. So he was very much, I don't know, he should not get angry. I'm giving a class on anger now. So he had COVID in the first wave. It was Guru Maharaj also had at the same time. He also had. And Guru Maharaj was he was recovering from COVID, and Guru Maharaj was taking care of his disciples, even those who were down with COVID. He was calling me up and asking me, how is he, what's happening now? And I was reporting to Guru Maharaj that he's alone in the room, we have quarantined him, and children, I have sent them away, because nobody knew, like this COVID, the first wave, nobody knew what to do, or what's going to happen. I said, but I was on the marathon. I was on the Bhagavatam marathon that time. And I was selling Bhagavatams in the middle of the night even, because we had, from all over America, Canada, everybody had joined me, and they were in the night, they were sending messages. As I was doing marathon and reporting, and he was in his, with COVID, he was quarantined. And then there was a crucial night came up. And the doctor said, he needs a chest X-ray. And I said, should I take him? He said, no, you will not take him. The doctor said, doctor is our god brother who treated Guru Maharaj also. So he said, no, you're not taking him. So he said, I will arrange a medicine. That medicine, Feviflu, he said. But the normal chemists who were making money, the pharmacy started making money. They would not give that medicine. They had put a big price on those medicines. And they would say, oh, first you have to register and then we will get it, just making it complicated. So the Dr. Dwarkadi said, no issues, Mataji, I'll try to get the medicine for you, but somebody has to pick it up from here. So I asked my son, I had told my children, I sent my children away from home. I said, you don't stay in, I only stay here, I only serve him food, but you all go away. But then he arranged for a medicine, and then my son picked it up, and I said, you don't come upstairs, put it down in the lift only, I'll get it up, you go away. So the medicine came, I just put it in the door for him, and Guru Maharaj called up me, and then he called him up, and he took the medicine. And I knew when Guru Maharaj is taking care, everything will be fine. And he became okay. And then we went to see Guru Maharaj when the lockdown was open for a few days. So we were sitting in Guru Maharaj's room, and Guru Maharaj asked him, how are you? And he was very, very down at that time. He had a mental trauma. For 15 days he was locked in a room alone. And then he was actually, he was very depressive at that time. And he would not speak, very quiet, not speaking to Guru Maharaj. And I was sitting, and he was there in Guru Maharaj. So I said, Guru Maharaj, he's fine, but he's very quiet these days, and he's more particular about his sadhana now. And very firmly he's following all the sadhana he's doing. So Guru Maharaj says to me, Radhika Kripa, Krishna has shown him something. I said, yes, Guru Maharaj. And such...
Tell about the mask.
Guru Maharaj was wearing a mask, and he was fiddling with his mask. बड़ा अजीब लग रहा था. शुरू में सबको बड़ा अजीब था कि मास्क से बात कैसे करें, ईयर से इधर लटक रहा है उधर. Guru Maharaj was fiddling with his mask, and he says to me, both of us we were there, and he says, oh, I've become like a Jain Muni. Jain Muni, yes. Jain Muni. Jain Muni. Oh, Muni, Jains, they wear this, no, all the time. He says, oh my God, I've become like a Jain Muni. He was fiddling with his mask. And then next it became, he says, you all wear masks, so if I don't wear, it's okay. You all wear. So it was very nice days. That was what Guru Maharaj was and is, of course. He's there with us always. And once he came to our home, it was in the year like 2002 maybe, or 1. And he was there, and Guru Maharaj had told me to give lectures. I was not initiated at that time even. And then he always, the first thing was, his order that came to me was, you should give lectures. And then my Prabhuji said, you can lecture the whole world, but don't lecture me. So I told Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj came to our home, and I said, Guru Maharaj, he says, don't lecture me, you can lecture the whole world. So Guru Maharaj said, who tells you to lecture him? You tell me, I will lecture him. I said, yes, Guru Maharaj. So Guru Maharaj was always like a father figure for me, and I would often tell him. The first thing I also told him was that I speak to you the way I used to talk to my father. So he always welcomed that, and he always took me as his daughter. And my son, in his teens, now he's 34, but in his teens, Guru Maharaj has seen him growing up. He was just 7 when he met Guru Maharaj. So when he came into his teens, he got he wore a stud here in 1 ear. And he went to pick up Guru Maharaj to drive him to bring it to our home from the temple. So Guru Maharaj sat next to him, and he looked at his face and said, Harsh, you're beautiful or handsome? So is really the sense of humor. The kids also, they love him for that. He would talk to my daughter, and he would share everything we could share with him. We shared our birthdays and anniversaries with him. We would sometimes when he was in Delhi, I would invite whole my family in Guru Maharaj's room, and we would take the cake. If it was my anniversary, we would go and cut it with him. Just 2 years back, we did this with him. This year, my daughter's birthday, the son and daughter's birthday fall in the same day, almost. So I took he was in Canada, but my daughter was there, so we took the cake to Guru Maharaj, and she also came, and we cut the cake with Guru Maharaj. So we always tried to celebrate with Guru Maharaj. And it's 26th January is our anniversary day. So we got married on 26th January. So Guru Maharaj there used to be a program every 26th January. There used to be a big program in Vedavyas Prabhu's farmhouse. His office is in his farmhouse. So we used to have a big program there. He always used to organize for Guru Maharaj a program where 3,000 to 4,000 devotees would come. And Guru Maharaj would be there whole day. He would give a lecture, he would do kirtan, and then he would sit till evening, and we would meet all the devotees. And we got the opportunity to serve him prasadam and be there with him all day. And once I could not make it, I had fever. So I did not go, and in the evening, Guru Maharaj calls me up and says, "Why were you not here?" I said, "Guru Maharaj, I had fever." He says, "You would have been okay if you would have come." He said that. And it was very nice to be there, and it was our anniversary all the time. So we would say sometimes in the beginning years, I would say, "Guru Maharaj, it's our anniversary today." So he would give a garland to us. And one day, I was talking to another friend of mine, Jai Radhe. We were outside the rooms. We both of us usually served prasadam to Guru Maharaj. So I told Jai Radhe, because Guru Maharaj always used to say, devotees don't celebrate their anniversaries, and And then I said, we will not tell Guru Maharaj this time that it's my anniversary. Nobody should tell. You also don't say. So both of us were talking very far away. The room is closed. Guru Maharaj is inside. We are way at the entrance of the other room, and we are talking among ourselves, both of us. I said, don't tell Guru Maharaj it's my anniversary. I will also not say. You won't believe it. Guru Maharaj, after that, sometime, like after half an hour or so, when Guru Maharaj opened the door and he came out, he looks at me and he says, "Happy anniversary." Here's a garland. I said, no, we didn't want to tell him. He knows everything. And he gave the garland. So it is that once in Guru Maharaj's room, there was a president of one temple was sitting. I won't name who he was. He was sitting and he was lying, telling Guru Maharaj something, but it was a total lie. And I was listening, everything. We were both there. Usually we used to go to see Guru Maharaj, and I would love to be there. I didn't have any questions to ask. I didn't have any complaints to give. But I just wanted to be there, just to watch him talking to others. And sometimes somebody would say, no, they would enter the room and they would say, "Aap puch lo, aapko koi kaam hai, aap kar lo." Then Guru Maharaj said, "It's okay, let them sit there. They don't have anything to say." So this person was talking to Guru Maharaj and he was totally lying. I knew the thing. And when he left, Guru Maharaj was listening very patiently, and as if he was very convinced what he was saying. So I was thinking, how come Guru Maharaj can be convinced what he's saying? When he left, I said, "Guru Maharaj, he was totally lying to you. It's total lie. I know what it was, and he's lying." And Guru Maharaj looked at me and he said, "Radhika Kripa, do you think I'm a fool?" I said, "Yes, Guru Maharaj, that is my fault." Because Guru Maharaj said, I'm not a fool. I understand everything, what he's doing. Because Guru Maharaj had those eyes, once he looks at you, that was the X-ray, MRIs are done. Everything is done. So there has been many, many more memories I have, and lots and lots of more. I've written a book and presented that to Guru Maharaj last year. Memoirs with my spiritual father, a little story of Radhika Kripa. So Guru Maharaj liked it. There are many pictures. On the Vyasa Puja day, I offered him 2 books last year. It was Guru and Memoirs. And उससे पहले जो लिखी थी Vaishnav teaching in Sikhism and Vaishnavism and Sikhism and devotional poems. So 5 books. And this year again, I had told him that I'm writing another book and I'll gift it to you on your Vyasa Puja day. And he asked me, it was in the month of March, I told him, I'm working on another book, Guru Maharaj, and it'll be soon on your Vyas Puja day, I'll be offering it to you. And he said, what's the title of the book? I said, Guru Maharaj, the title of the book is Death Unstoppable. Death the Unstoppable. Guru Maharaj said, very nice title, Radhika Kripa. And that book is complete, and I'll be offering to Guru Maharaj now on his Vyas Puja. But just that, he won't be with us, but he said it's a very nice title. So his words are there with us. So there are many, many stories, how I got initiated, how my name was Radhika Kripa. Actually, my name is, I'm from a Sikh family, and my Karmi name is Randeep, and I never liked that name. So I used to tell my father, I don't like this name. So he would say, change it, but then it was too difficult to change a name. You have your degrees, you have everything in your name, so how can you change it? But I never liked it. So when the spiritual, when it was there that we would be, Diksha we will be getting. So it was, then I came to know that the same letter would be used for the Dikshit name. The spiritual name will be from the same letter. So I was praying very hard to Radharani to give me her name. But then I knew in my heart that whatever Guru Maharaj gives, it's gonna be that. I'm not gonna ask him change the name or something like that, and I'm not gonna tell him that I want this name. I knew it, my children knew it, my husband knew it that I wanted a name with Radharani's name. But I was praying very, very hard. When the initiation had to be done in the big temple, I chose a seat in front of Garurji from where I could take darshan of Radha Parthasarthi and Radharani especially. And I was chanting and praying to Radharani, please give me your name, please give me your name. I kept on chanting till my turn came. And I was asking Radharani, pleading with her. And when I went to Guru Maharaj was giving the slip to everybody. He gives the beads and he gives the meaning of the name. He gave my Prabhuji Rasa Priya Das, and the meaning is the servant to the Lord of dances. So when my turn came, Guru Maharaj said, your name is Radhika Kripa. And he crushed the slip in his hand. He did not give it. And now I was very curious. First I didn't believe it, it's my name. Everybody saying very good, nice name, lovely name. And I couldn't believe my ears. So when the yajna was over, and there was a pin board where they had put the name list. That if by chance you have not got your slip or you haven't heard your name, whatever, you can check on the pin board what your name is. So I walked to the pin board. I walked there and I looked at my name, my karmi name and then my spiritual name. So there it was written Ras Mandli Devidasi. And I didn't know how Guru Maharaj came there. He stood next to me. He says, what are you looking at? I said, Guru Maharaj, is this my name or the one you gave me? That's my name. He said, the one I gave you, that's your name. And then also, I did not believe it. I wanted to know when this happened. How, I couldn't ask Guru Maharaj, when did you change it? So the best person was Balaram, Sri Balaram. He was serving Guru Maharaj at that time, the Russian boy. So he was like a son to me. I asked Balaram, I said, Balaram, when did this happen? My name, when did it get changed? Who changed it? When it changed? He said, and when the list was being prepared in the computers, your name was suggested as next to your husband, Rasamandli Devidasi. But then Guru Maharaj changed your name on the Vyasa Asana. When he had to give you the beads, he changed the name. So that proved in itself that Guru is Radha Tattva. Radharani is Guru Tattva.
Yes.
So they are actually, only Krishna actually brings them, Radharani brings to you to the service of Krishna if your Guru actually puts you forward. So it's Guru Tattva. Balaram is Guru Tattva, Radharani is Guru Tattva. So Guru actually, he knows your heart. Radharani is in his heart. So that proved in itself on the very first day of my initiation. So that's how Guru Maharaj is. And that is his mercy, and when he gave him this name, Rasapriya, now when everybody is surprised how he is making such beautiful temples, so I tell everybody that Guru Maharaj knew that he would be taking this service from him. That is why he gave him the name Rasapriya. Because he is servant to that art form of Krishna.
Yes.
So that mercy is coming from Krishna, the art form of Krishna. Guru has asked for that. And it's Guru wants him to do this service. Guru picks up the person who would do what service. So we have to actually surrender to the Guru. And then we will be used as an instrument to serve Krishna. Otherwise, we will just lead a Falgu life, a Falgu detachment. So that is how Guru Maharaj, the personality of Guru Maharaj is that there are many, many more stories. I've got millions of stories. I've spent these 25 years just revolving around him. That's why everybody says, even I was reading Amoga Leela's message on my Instagram. He says, Mataji, you're at the right place at the right moment, always. Because it's been a habit of mine since 2000 that I would carry a video camera to make all the videos of Guru Maharaj. Till these cell phones came with the videos to be, we could make videos with the phones, then we discarded our cameras. Otherwise, I would carry a photo camera as well as the video camera. And my Prabhuji sometimes, he knows he's sitting here. He says that you will take the charge of the camera, I will not. You only carry and make. I don't put it on me that I will carry it. And we would do the parikram, Mayapur parikram. I would run ahead of Guru Maharaj and Jayapataka Maharaj would lead the parikram. And I would run ahead of them, stand there, turn around, make the video, and then again run ahead. And likewise, Jayapataka Maharaj would come till my camera and say, that's Radhika Kripa with her camera. She's spying on us. I've got all that recorded with me. So anything would happen. And once we were in Mayapur, we didn't get nice accommodation. It was late. I had actually decided to go for the parikram and I didn't get good accommodation. They put me outside in some place and it was very filthy. So Guru Maharaj asked me, did you get a place? I said, yeah, Guru Maharaj, but it's too filthy. And I had asked them a neat and clean place, at least, if not very nice, but at least neat and clean. So they've taken the money, the temple, reception, the people, but they haven't given that. So Guru Maharaj says, go to Jayapataka Maharaj, go to him, tell him. Said, yes, Maharaj. And then Jayapataka Maharaj would listen to me, and then it was so nice, like he would say, go to him. And Jayapataka Maharaj is such, I think so, the only Indian woman driver who has driven him in Delhi. I don't know, abroad maybe someone must have, but in Delhi I'm the only woman driver who drove him. And I drove him for 1 hour from airport to his disciples' home. And on the way, Guru Jayapataka Maharaj asked me, has your Guru Maharaj ever sat with you like this? I said, no, Maharaj, only in my dreams. And then I'm telling Guru Maharaj this thing. I told him, I said, Guru Maharaj, Jayapataka Maharaj asked me this question. And I had to answer that only in my dreams I have driven you. And Guru Maharaj laughed, a hearty laugh. Such a beautiful relationship. And he was nice to, now when everybody speaks the glories, he was nice to all. We think, oh, he was nice to me, but he was nice to all. Yes. He had beautiful relationship with all of his disciples. So anybody has any question, we can go for ages. Any question anybody wants to ask me?
How many disciples Guru Maharaj had?
तो जी हमेशा हिसाब रखने की कोशिश की गई बट हिसाब नहीं है. आप अगर उनको जानना चाहते हैं तो हम इसी से जानते हैं कि when the day he left his body and he was brought from Dehradun, there were around about 60,000 people in the temple. Those who were his disciples, aspiring disciples, not disciples. 3 किलोमीटर लंबी लाइन थी मंदिर से बाहर जो दर्शन करने आना चाहते थे. अंदर आ रहे थे बारी बारी. And it was he came to the temple at 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 4:30 in the morning. Next morning, people were coming and going and coming and going and staying in the auditorium just to have his darshan. When he was brought to Vrindavan, both sides of the roads were jam-packed just to have a glimpse of the van in which he was brought. And at the Samadhi, it was so difficult to actually restrain the crowds. It was totally crowded. Prashadam at the Gaushala was for like 15,000 to 20,000 people. So Guru Maharaj's disciples must be around about 1 lakh or something. It has to be. Initiated तो 60-70 हजार तो होंगे. 50-60 हजार तो कहीं नहीं गए. And aspiring to, there were ladies that came to me, there were men who came to me while the Samadhi ceremony was done. They said we were waiting for our initiation in Chandigarh. He was supposed to give initiation on the 8th. Around about 1,000 people from whole of Punjab, they wanted. So it was, actually, those who are very fortunate, those are his disciples. In my WhatsApp group, when I made this group, Guru Maharaj gave initiation, but there were lots of tests were taken for all those whom I recommended from my group, because they were online. And I had myself not met them, some of them. From your Detroit, Baltimore, there was a lady. She wanted, in the first sessions itself, they all joined in 2020. And she wanted a Bhagavatam marathon when we started. She wanted a Bhagavatam for herself in America. I said, you can just go to Detroit Temple and get one. She lived in Baltimore. She said, no, I want one with the signatures of Guru Maharaj. And from India, from where you are speaking, I want one from there itself. So we had to, I said, it's gonna be like 40,000 rupees, it's gonna cost you. She said, no problem. But she wanted one with Guru Maharaj's autograph on it. And we would send to Guru Maharaj rooms the first canto of, Peti Bharbarke. And Guru Maharaj would signing them and sending, because they were like 400 to 500 Bhagavatams we were doing. And they were all new people, and they would welcome Bhagavatam as Krishna. They were welcoming as a deity is coming to their home. They would carry it on their head. They would place it, offer bhoga, offer puja. And I asked them to make videos and send to me. And we showed those videos to Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj was so happy. He would record messages for me. I would say, Guru Maharaj, it's online preaching. I want them to see you, talk to you. So you just record some messages and send me. And he would record video recordings and send me. And we would. And one day I said, Guru Maharaj, just give darshan to them. In our Zoom session, please come. So he said, your Zoom session is the time when I do deity worship. So I said, it's okay, Guru Maharaj, you don't speak anything. Just let them see you're doing deity worship. And then Guru Maharaj agreed. He would listen to whatever I would suggest. So then he came for the deity. He's doing his deity worship, and he came on the Zoom. It was put the camera on him, and he was there. He did not speak to anyone there. But I welcomed him. And then I asked everybody while he was listening, I said, if you have any question, ask me. And they asked questions and I answered. And later on, Guru Maharaj called me up and said, very nice answers, Radhika Kripa, you gave. I said, it's you, Maharaj. You were there, that's why I could give some answer. So he just blessed. And then I was doing so many courses with our online group. I was doing the Bhagavatam course I started. That also has a very beautiful story. We were in Govardhan Parikram. It was the year 2021 or 22. We were in Govardhan Parikram with Guru Maharaj. So Guru Maharaj said, I'm going to the new center that has been a new, what do we call it, the Govardhan retreat. So, not eco, that is Govardhan retreat that has opened up in Govardhan. And Burijan Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple, he is the charge there. So Guru Maharaj said, I'm going there. So when he says, I'm going there, means you come there. Because out of everybody he's telling you, that means you come there. So both of us went there with him. And then he told Burijan Prabhu that she's a writer, she's an author, and she's a book distributor. She has done so many Bhagavatams. And Burijan Prabhu asked, so you're distributing Bhagavatam, but are you reading Bhagavatam with their group? So at that time we had not started with the courses of Bhagavatam. And I was like figuring out what to answer. And immediately Guru Maharaj comes to my rescue and Guru Maharaj answers, it's in the pipeline. Guru Maharaj says, it's in the pipeline. I said, he saved me. What to answer, I didn't know. So then when I came home and then I started the Bhagavatam courses. So once we were doing the course on Adi Leela and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I requested the Sahdev Prabhu that please ask Guru Maharaj to come to the session of our first session of the courses, just to bless everybody. They'll be so happy. They'll get motivated more. Because 100 people were doing the course from all over the world with me. So Guru Maharaj was in Ghaziabad. He was attending a meeting. So Dasavtar Prabhu took the laptop inside the meeting itself and placed it before Guru Maharaj. And it said, Guru Maharaj, there is Radhika Kripa on the other side in the Zoom. She wants you to just speak few words. And he told me, right now Guru Maharaj is coming on with you on the Zoom. I have connected. And then I said, I was so happy, those recordings are there, and I was so happy. I said, Guru Maharaj, we are so blessed to see you here. It's just a surprise for whole of my group. They didn't know you were coming, because none of them knew that Guru Maharaj would just come in the Zoom session. And it's a blessing for them, and it's just a surprise for them. And then Guru Maharaj says from the other end, it's a surprise for me also. But my full blessings are with them. So he would say this, and he was so simple, so everybody loved him for that. The whole of my group. Then Guru Maharaj tells me, I said, Guru Maharaj, they all love you. They all want to take initiation from you. And this Mataji who got the Bhagavatam to Baltimore. The next Guru Maharaj came to Baltimore. She was already chanting 16 rounds for two years. And then she was very strong in her devotional life. She had given she had done IDC, she had given all the interviews to we have very many interviews, and filter test hote hain bahut sare India mein. She had passed through all of them. And then Guru Maharaj initiated her here. And imagine what name Guru Maharaj gave her. Guru Maharaj did not know that she got the Bhagavatam from India. Guru Maharaj gave her the name Nishtha Murti Mataji. Her Nishtha was so strong. Then Guru Maharaj just told her husband, how many rounds you chant? He said 6. Guru Maharaj said 16, why not? And he started 16 the day, same day. And next year when Guru Maharaj went, Guru Maharaj initiated him also. He was already chanting 16. So both got, and he gave him the name Vilas Murti Devi, Vilas Murti Das. So likewise, there is, I was actually preaching a boy in Mauritius. He's an IT professional. He joins, our session starts at 5 a.m. in the morning every day. It's been more than 1200 days now. So he joins at 3:30 in the morning. It's Mauritius time is 3:30 that time a.m. So he has got a lot of service in the group. We have a group, we chant 8 rounds in the morning. From 5 to 5:45 or 6 o'clock, we chant 8 rounds. And then we have Guru Vashtakam. Guru Vashtakam, when Guru Maharaj was there, wherever Guru Maharaj would be doing Aarti in the Mangal Aarti, we would immediately go online, search for that, click screenshots, make a video out of it. And this boy in Mauritius would make a video. I would take the screenshot, send it to him. He would make a video, and somebody would sing Guru Vashtakam. The person who would sing Guru Vashtakam could be from Chennai, could be from Kerala, could be from any part of the world. We would name that person, he has to sing. And we would put Guru Maharaj doing the Mangal Aarti on the screen for everybody to watch. And likewise, after Guru Vashtakam, we would have Tulsi Aarti. So somebody would sing from somewhere and one person would perform from the other part of the world. So the Tulsi Aarti goes on. After Tulsi Aarti, it is Shikshashtakam that I speak always. So Shikshashtakam, I explain Shikshashtakam one verse. And then we begin with 10 Namaprads, the discussion on 10 Namaprads every day. Guru Maharaj Pranam Mantra, Srila Prabhupada Pranam Mantra, then 10 Namaprads discussion, and then all this happens. From Tulsi Aarti, and then we go to the court of Prabhupada, the court of Guru Maharaj, we discuss that, and then we come to it's the Guru Vandana, and then the Narsingh Aarti, and then we end. If anybody has any question, we take that. So this session goes on like this. So Guru Maharaj knew, and this boy from Mauritius, he would make the videos and put them immediately. So now when Guru Maharaj is not there, it's his duty to pick up those old videos, and we have on the screen Guru Maharaj performing Mangal Aarti. And if he has done anywhere Tulsi Aarti, we have that clip, we put it. For Narsingh Aarti, we put up Guru Maharaj clip again. So earlier I was doing all this, and this boy also got initiated. It was his first time to Vrindavan, first time meeting Guru Maharaj, and he got initiated. And then when their interviews were going on, Guru Maharaj was personally he was taking interest, he was asking the prabhus who were taking the interviews online, he was asking, how is Radhika Kripa's group doing? How are they faring? And then he got the information, out of all the 1,000 candidates, her candidates are the best. And Guru Maharaj knew I'm very strict with them. On my Zoom sessions, no cameras off. The cameras have to be on. If you switch off your cameras, you're out of the Zoom. We put you out immediately. So Guru Maharaj always said, don't be angry with them. I said, no, Guru Maharaj, I'm not. And then one day Guru Maharaj says, what do you tell them, Radhika Kripa? What do you tell them about me? That they know me. They haven't met me, and how they know they want to take initiation from me. I said, Guru Maharaj, I don't tell them anything that you're not a... He says, I'm not a magician. I said, I don't tell them that you're a magician. I'm not Sai Baba. I'm not Sai Baba. So this is how Guru Maharaj, everybody, those all of you, aapko to Prabhu ji pata hi hai. You all know, you have been connected to Guru Maharaj ages back. Yeah. So any question, we'll end the session here. End karte karte we have moved on. Hari Bol. So any question anybody has?
मुझे क्वेश्चन है प्रभु जी से।
अच्छा पूछिए।
आपने जो बोला ना अभी कि जब कोविड हुआ था तो गुरु महाराज ने बोला कि कृष्णा क्वेश्चन।
Krishna.
Can you print something
Krishna has shown him something.
यमदूत दिख रहे हो।
Yamdut.
गुरु महाराज ने बोला है तो उसका कुछ
So,
वो तो महाराज की कृपा थी एकदम से। क्योंकि वो मेडिसिन भी बड़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग थी एंड उनका भी इफेक्ट बहुत ज्यादा था जो दी थी। वो भी महाराज गुरु महाराज को भी वही दी थी।
बहुत कुछ है हमारे। My mother got strangulated. She fell unconscious while the person was strangulating her. She lived all alone in a big house. We are three sisters. I'm the youngest. I was in Australia preaching. I had gone to Sydney. I was there, and she was in Delhi, and she was strangulated. And then my cousins, they found it out, and they informed my prabhuji. He went. He took her to hospital, but she had lost her voice because she was 85, and it was in the morning, it was daytime, afternoon, when she was strangulated. And she was brought to the hospital, and they said that her vocal cords have actually compressed so hard that it's very difficult. Usually we operate upon them, but she's so frail and at such an advanced age, we cannot operate. So she'll have to live like this. And when she would speak, nobody would understand. It was not clear at all. And then Guru Maharaj had come to Panjai Bagh temple when I was back. So I met Guru Maharaj, I had gone to see him. So it was like, he came late in the night, like it was 8:39, the temple was already closing. So I had taken my mother along. So my mother went there and we just paid obeisances. And I told Guru Maharaj, knew that what had happened. And then Guru Maharaj gave his garland to her. And he said, she's a very nice lady, very pious lady. Then he told me, he said, rush and get some prasad for her. So I went inside, but the temple was closed, kitchen was closed, deity kitchen closed, devotee kitchen closed, all closed. There was no prasad. I said, Guru Maharaj, there's no prasad. He said, go to the snack bar and get a cup of ice cream. I went to the snack bar, got a cup of ice cream for my mother. And Guru Maharaj said, give it to your mom. I gave her and we came home. Within 2 days, her voice was back. That's why I said, no?
not a magician, I would say.
Guru Maharaj was not a magician. He would never agree to such cheap adulations. It's all his mercy. He would just actually test his disciples and see if they really. He was never a magician. That is a very cheap word for him. He would never use that. But he loved his disciples. He loved. That's his love. Hari Bol. So thank you everybody. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Guru Maharaj ki jai. God Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. आपके डेटीज का नाम क्या है?
राधा माधव।
अच्छा, श्री राधा माधव की जय।
सादेव की मम्मी ने रखा था।
अच्छा, तो आप ये उनकी डेटीज हैं?
नहीं, वही लेके आए थे। हाँ जी।
अच्छा।
सादेव की मम्मी शक्तिमती जी।
Shakti. No, I've heard about her a lot from Yudhishthira Maharaj. In my early days, like when I started coming here in 2009, he used to meet me regularly in those early days.
वृंदावन नहीं?
No, he met me here only in Vancouver.
अच्छा अच्छा।
Vancouver में वो मेरे lectures में भी आते थे then. He was okay when he could drive also. Then for the last, like say, I met him in the last was 2016. He came to see me in my lectures. That's it. Hari Bol.
Yeah, he was in Vrindavan for a little while.
Acha, that I didn't
It
know.
was a very early time. I forget what year he was in.
Okay. Hare Krishna.